Good day to you all. I hope you're keeping well. I've been meaning to do this for some time. Compare these two instrument mics. Now, please bear something in mind. I'm not an instrument mic user. Why have I got them then? Well, this one, the SM57 I bought some time ago, years ago. I said I had a band, it's hardly been used, for the sax player. Why did I buy an SM57? Because people said, buy an SM57. My first microphone was an SM58. Why did I buy an SM58? Because people said, buy a 58. So I did. But I've moved on since then. So there's the 57. And why then do I have another instrument mic? Well, because somebody in the comments section, thank you, suggested the SE V7 and also recommended the V7X, and I've done a comparison, so you can search my channel and you'll find that. So I thought, seeing as I have these two instrument mics, let's do a comparison. Save them sitting on the shelf. Well, this on in Anton's shop in Guildford, excellent shop, ships worldwide, but obviously this anyway. They're charging £85 for this, and this is £77. We'll have a look at them close up from above in a moment. But let me then, seeing as my experiences with vocal mics, let's see what differences I might expect. And this is just me thinking. Well, straight away, pops for voice. Not really for instruments, though bass drums sometimes can produce the equivalent of a pop, a blast of air, and indeed Biodynamic on their M88 produces a foam filter to dissipate that. If it's right in the circle of the bass drum and you've got an enthusiastic bass drummer, it could, on theirs, it could create pops and also blow the diaphragm. So Biodynamic have that available. But I've got loads of old M88s which have been used as instrument mics as well, and they're fine. But anyway, so pops is a pretty much exclusively a voice thing. It's going to be handheld, so would need to be rugged because it's the best will in the world. Might get dropped. And it would need to be resistant to handling noise. I would say it needs to go from a true 50 hertz up to whatever, it doesn't really matter. But obviously the engineering gets very difficult up there, so let's say 20 kilohertz-ish. Whereas an instrument mic, top end, I think will be much the same because you're approaching the human hearing. Though Earthworks do say that there's some relationship to going higher, lower down, even though you can't actually hear above 20 hertz maybe, and I'm sure I can't. Low end, okay, with an instrument mic, bass goes down to 40 hertz, 5-string bass, 30 hertz. If you happen to be recording grand organs, and maybe you're going to need 20. Pretty rare, I was going to say, but I don't know. Well, it's probably pretty rare. Anyway, so perhaps the instrument mic might need a little bit more low end. I like proximity, the bass boost when you bring it closer. I use that as an artistic thing, hopefully. That's the idea. But you probably wouldn't require that in an instrument mic, but the proximity effect is part of the territory. You can't really get rid of it, not easily. Sure how to go with their KSM8. So they're going to be similar. So therefore, really, I would say, apart from the pop screen, I can't see really much difference between an instrument. They've got to take a high sound pressure level as well, of course, if you're going to go in front of a Marshall stack on one of the speakers, but then some singers generate quite a din close up. So that's much the same as well, I think. So really the only difference I'm saying would be the pop filter and any of the other stuff like the ruggedness maybe. And if that doesn't detract from the sound, you may as well leave it in the instrument mic as well, it seems to me. So I think in my experiences, they're fairly similar, but we'll have a go in a minute. I looked at the websites, and you can do this yourself. See what, I'll keep these in view, give you something to look at. Shure, SM57, Shure site says delivers the power of your playing to every fan in the house. What does that mean? kind of doesn't say anything to me, really. I mean, it's marketing speak. You've got to sell things. I don't understand. Uniquely designed to deal with high-pressure sound. Fair enough. It's known for that. Of course, if you make the thing out of leather, it's going to deal with it, isn't it? The lighter and the more detailed the diaphragm is and the more it can pick up the nuances, the more I would imagine, the more you're going to have to be careful with very loud sounds. So even that's not really saying anything. I mean, it's easy to make it handle that. Just make it thick and uncompliant, and it will last a million years. Anyway, hypersound. The contoured frequency response makes it simple to engineer clean audio for a live sound mix. Let me say that again about the Shure, what they say. The contoured frequency response makes it simple to engineer clean audio for a live sound mic. Two things I'm going to look at there. The contoured frequency response. What is that contour and why? And do you want that contour on every instrument, the guitar cab, the sax, the rest of it? Because if you do that, you're going to get an excess of that contour, are you not? On the SE site, they say, let me get the little badge thing, is it? Powerful, natural, focused. Here we go again. What does that mean? I've got my new strings on my Strat. I've got my new old stock valves. I've got my hemp cone speakers. I've tweaked everything. And I've got the sound I want. And this is going to do what? Powerful, natural, focused. Well, I kind of see. Natural I'll take. Powerful, what they mean, sensitive, or it adds some sort of but I don't want that because I've just fettled all my equipment. Here we go. Anyway, brings all of your instruments to life. What does that mean? My instrument's got the life I want anyway, thank you. You know, I tweak it and I take care of it. This one, I work at it, I practice. What do you mean to bring it to life? Anyway, on we go. Now something a bit more detailed perhaps. Aluminium voice coil, new acoustic design, full bandwidth. Oh, okay. Balanced and detailed highs. Good. Deep, ultra-powerful lows. Well, if they're not ultra-powerful to start with, why are you putting ultra-power on it? Just give me what I've got, please. And I've got a facility to do stuff if I want. That's my feeling. Anyway. With powerful with guitar cabs, brass, snare drums, choirs. Natural picture. I like that. And they've got a load of stuff on their site. They have rather more than Shure. I mean, it must be tempting for Shure. Maybe they feel they don't need to. It must be, what is there to say, really? Perhaps because it's been all said for decades. So go and look at somebody else's site. But these seem to be trying to give a little bit more in amongst the flowery stuff, which is incomprehensible, really, seems to me. Anyway, that's the start of it. I'm going to set the camera from above and have a nice cup of tea and a close look. That's what we'll do next. Here we are then, side by side. And as you can see, the SM57 is quite compact. The V7X, slightly larger. Well, it'll do. Well, it'll do. 57 then. Is there any point doing this? Because you all know it, I imagine. This seems tough enough. I've seen them broken, but maybe they've been run over by a lorry. But it seems tough enough to me. This does come off. I looked online at a video and decided not to do it. It's simple enough if you know what you're doing. But leave well enough alone sometimes. Very nice. Nothing, no complaints at all. I believe they're gold-plated pins. Workmanlike, not as a criticism, so perhaps it's not the right word, but just solid and business-like perhaps is better. This does come off, does unscrew. only take it that far. Nice threads, but no need to do that. So yeah, very solid feeling. No ring to it. And what about this Neutrik XLR? Let's see. Very good. That's what I like. The SM57 then. Solidly made, nicely finished. What can you say? Compact. Weight. Yeah, I've been doing this a bit, and each time I do it, I'm still thinking that the SM57 is possibly slightly weightier than this one. Just a bit, but V7X. They say this is a kind of spring steel. Once more, I believe gold-plated pins. Bit more of a ring to it, but that's not really what I have noticed, maybe not with this, well, because sound waves are coming through there, so I have noticed in microphones, this could be baloney, folks. You know it could. But I think I've noticed a little bit of that in the sound, which wouldn't be surprising, would it? Or would it? Anyway. Yeah, nice threads. Quite a lot of them. Not that it matters, you're not going to be doing this much. Wow. On we go. Foam inside there. I don't know what's inside the 57. You can see it's very fine foam, you can see through there. Yeah. Yeah. And some foam on the top there. This is compliant. Ooh. Yeah. I suppose. Very nicely made as well, as you can see. I suppose we know the longevity of this one and its robustness. I don't know how long this one's been around, but nowhere near as long as that's for sure. So will this harden up over time? No reason why it should really. I think it's 2022. We must have materials that don't. But you never, all that stuff. But there you go. Which is maybe why people just feel safe and go there. But we shall see what they sound like in just a moment. Yeah, that's very nice. What about this? Slightly firmer than the Shure. Oh, come on. I mean, yeah, they're both good. This is very good in tolerances. Because you rely on, loads of people use Neutrik and all sorts, but you rely on Neutrik being consistent. You design your mic because you've got a wayward plug you measure and design it around, and then all the others are slightly smaller or slightly bigger. Actually, I've had some which scarcely fit in on some mics. So obviously Neutrik, it seems to me, are very consistent with their engineering, and then you can get tolerances like this which are reliable and quite frankly enjoyable. Yeah, that's the way it should be for me. Anyway, there you go then. What can I say? It's just a question of which you like, really, in terms of that. Both great build quality, seems to me. Yeah. Now, the important bit, I suppose. Do they work at all? And if they do, what do they sound like? It's a lovely day here in the UK, and I've got the door open, so there'll be some extraneous noise, birds and people and stuff, which is maybe not a bad thing because it might give you some idea when I go to the microphones of how they pick up. That kind of thing, maybe. Don't know. Anyway, I thought we'd have a look at the frequency graphs, which should be appearing on screen. And I'll look at the SM57, which is flat from 200 Hz to 3 kHz, just rising very slightly. And then it's got quite a lot going on at the top there, just below 5 to 10 kHz. And then there's no proximity trace. It drops off pretty steeply, just under 200 Hz. The V7X is pretty flat, isn't it, from just above 100 to 1K. And then it starts to rise a little earlier than the SM57. But then there's, rather like the biodynamic M88, there's a broad, slight lift right across the top. And it appears to hold up to 20 kHz, much more so than the 57. At the low end, then, it's fundamental. Its basic reproduction holds strong in the low end to about 120 Hz. And then it tails off gently. But then you've got the two proximity traces. I'd have liked to have seen them on the 57, but they're not there. So what might we expect from this? Very difficult to say. I'd expect to be able to hear that shrillness with a accentuation with the SM57, and I'd expect the low end on my voice anyway to be attenuated. And with the 7X, I'd expect a good low end when it's close if I'm using that proximity. And then, of course, you can control it to bring it further away and you get a flat response. And then I'd expect to hear a broad, slight lift in the upper frequencies. Let's see if that holds out. First of all, just going to switch them on and we'll just see what we notice. This is the Earthworks Ethos with an Icon Pro grille. I'll be doing a review on this with its own grille. There's a bit of a story behind that, but that's coming up. But anyway, as it is now, I'm very happy for it to be kind of a reference. Not comparing them to this, but you need to be able to hear something. And I'm satisfied that this is the one to use. Moving straight over then from the Ethos to the 57. Now I'm on the Shure SM57. Now I'm on the Shure SM57, which I recognise. I recognise first have something at the top there, which is a little ragged. I noticed a little bit of that proximity, fairly high, and quite slow, quite old school, which you'd expect. What else do I notice? I notice a bit of this kind of plasticky thing, which is the SM58 has got, and I notice on the, I haven't got one, I've never used one, the Shure SM7, Shure SB7, the podcasting mic, which sounds like a slightly bigger SM58, but that kind of, noticed that a lot with the SM58 as well. That's kind of a signature, it seems to me, which you may like. So there we go. And let's move straight from the 57 to the V7X. This is the V7X. This is the V. What did I notice? Oh, I noticed there. I noticed that coming through there. Maybe a slightly hollow thing there. Not sure. I do notice that stuff at the top, but it seems to be a little bit smoother than the 57 and finer. And it seems like it goes higher, seems like it goes higher, seems like it goes higher. Well, maybe my ears are whatever, and the headphones and all the rest of it, but that's how it seems, that's how it comes across. You can decide for yourself as best you can. Well, I will do, because I haven't really reviewed, I haven't reviewed this one. I don't think I reviewed this, or maybe I did. I did lots of stuff with it, but I can't remember. So may as well just go through a few of the things. Now, we'll be expecting some breath noise, because both of these are instrument mics, so they're not screened for that. They're designed for instruments. To go on the 57. I'm on the 57. I'm on the 57. I find that a bit too much. Now you can hear the breath noise, but we'll ignore that. So there's no point doing pops, actually. Let's see what it is. I believe it's cardioid old school. Is it not? You put this one down. Here I am on the front. Here I am coming round to the side, coming round to the side, coming round to the side, starting to change the sound a bit there. And obviously reduce the level, coming round to the side, coming round quite tight there, coming round to the back, coming round to the back, coming round to the back, coming round to the back. Seems to be a little bit of leakage there. It's a bit difficult to do when I'm doing it like this way, but from there probably would be better to be right round the back, coming round to the side, coming round to the side. Slight change in tone there, coming round, and pretty much sounds to me, pretty much yes, just a gentle change there. I believe this one is supercardioid, coming round to the side, starting there to attenuate, but keeping the tone pretty much, it seems to me, coming round to the side, quite severe reduction there. You can hear the room, of course, now, coming round to the back, 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 which is still pretty, very well reduced. If it's supercardioid, you expect to hear a bit more there, maybe. Seems to pick up a bit there, if that's not the room, bouncing off the ceiling, I don't think so. Coming round there, coming round, and there, you can just hear it starts to come into its own. Handling noise, doesn't matter for instrument mic, because it might be on a stand. This one I can hear some low, because it goes low, I can hear some low frequency stuff, which my hand seems to generate. I did a video on it. What on earth is that? Somebody said it's your blood. It's a bit of a worry. Anyway, if it were on a stand, because it goes low, you get that, you're going to get more of that. I thought I heard a little bit of a sound as well. A little bit of a rattle. Is that the capsule wobbling about in the suspension? Don't know. Onto the 57. Doesn't go low, of course, so you get less of that, but it's rather like the SM58. They're well damped, it seems to me, within well damped. Stay on this one. Hiss, hum, I don't know if I do that anymore. Well, I might do the hiss on these because of that bit up the top there. So let's go between them very quickly, because you know what things are like. So 57. So I notice on that it seems you've got to be very careful, haven't you? Seems to be smoother and broader at the top there, and this seems to be spikier, and this seems to be very even and more detailed. Breath, let's see. SM57. There might be a lot of puffing here. I'm just going to do the in-breath, because when I do both, I like to do the out-breath as well, but it didn't work. I tried it. So the in-breath sounds like this. Just going to go between the two, starting with a V7. I think I can hear it in there. It's that, it's that spike at the top. As for detail, I'm going to start with a V7, and then 57, and then the Ethos. Pretty much the same as before, to me. Anything else? Well, I guess I'll just make a few noises with some low notes and some on the Ethos, on the and some stuff up there, and we'll see what. Start with the 57. Let me give myself some groove. Ah, there it is. 57 coming up. Let me stop there because I just wanted to check that everything was the same on the desk, because it did. There's quite a considerable difference, it seemed to me. V7X. Checked. 57. Checked. That you can hear there's a bit of prettiness in this one, isn't there? There's my reverb switch. Yeah, a little bit of prettiness in this one, a little bit of prettiness in somewhat delicacy, maybe. Is it resolution? 57. Yeah, so like a pudding. 57. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not a new EQ kind of person, but I was playing around with this one, and I think I noticed something. So it was late, and I didn't do it for very long. But let me just see. So what I'm going to do, because this has obviously got more bass, I'm going to put the 100 hertz cut on first, and then I'll take that off and just turn down the bass slightly, which is 80 hertz. So here we are on the SM57. Ha 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 ha. So immediately ha ha ha. This has got more of that. So let me get rid of that with the no, I didn't like that. So now this is the V7X with the ha 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 with the bass 100 hertz cut. I'm going to go to the 57. Now I'm on 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 the 57. Do this whilst I'm at it. Now I'm on the 57, so you get some idea of the drop off. Now I'm on the 57. There's good. Now I'm on the 57. Now I'm on the V7. Now I'm on the V7. Take it away. Now I'm on the V7. The V7 seems to hold up better further away. Now I'm on the V7. There's a good place. Bring it closer. Now I'm on the V7. Now, but there's something about that I don't quite like. So now I'm going to put the V7 back to full. The V7 now is full. And I'm going to take 80 hertz a bit lower, start to cut a bit of that. Now I'm on the V7 minus 80 hertz to my ears. Now I'm on the V7. Now I'm on the 57. Now I'm on the V7. I'm going to take a little more of the V7 bass off. Now I'm on the V7. Now I'm on the 57. 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 Now I'm on the V7. Now I'm on the V7. To me then, with the bass cut there at the 80 hertz, it kind of just sounds like a better 57 to me. But, put the bass back. If I use 100 hertz for some reason, 100 hertz cut coming in, this is with the 100 hertz cut coming in, something that seems to do that. Strange. Or maybe it's not. There we go. So there we are. What this is slightly cheaper. I don't know. It just depends what you want, really. I don't have much use for either than for reference purposes. I suppose if I had to get one, of course I assume this is going to be robust. From a very straight musical point of view, if I were going to get one, I would get the V7X, because then I can get rid of any stuff I don't want. As you know, I rather have it and then do something about it later rather than have it imposed on me from the off, where it's going to be harder to do anything. Hope that gave you some insights. Enjoy the wonderful weather. I'm going to go and put the washing machine back on. And I'll see you next time. Keep well.